Yes, indeed. What's going on, y'all? It's your main man, Big Wayne, with an episode of Calling How I See It. Come on in, the water's just fine. All right, y'all. Week 2 was in the books. Atlanta Falcons just got done beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, here's my takeaway about. First of all, I knew Kirk Cousins. I picked Philly to lose. I picked Philly to lose that game. I picked Atlanta to win that game because I think Atlanta's better than a lot of people think. But that's not even my biggest takeaway. I think that game, I was looking at something that's really going and encapsulating the whole NFL, it seems like, as a whole. But I was looking at the Eagles, and I saw them featuring Saquon Barkley. I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm looking at how they sitting there trying to get Bijan Robinson involved. I'm looking at two football teams that's featuring the running back. I'm looking at John Harbaugh over there in San Diego. Look like he trying to get that thing back running again with J.K. Dobbins. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at how the Saints look, taking the whole league by storm, putting everybody on notice. They playing like they've been disrespected by everybody, myself included. I drugged the Saints a couple weeks ago. I thought they was going to be right there at the bottom. I thought they was maybe 6-win team at best, making me look foolish. That take aging like milk, baby. But anyway, they got Alvin Kamara doing his thing there. And then you got teams like the Buffalo Bills. All these teams are running the football. They're doing good. And it just makes me think like, is running the football starting to come back? Because I feel like running backs lately, they've really been doing that thing between the J.K. Dobbins, Saquon Barkley, James Cook, Jordan Madison to back up with Christian McCaffrey because he hurt. Then you got Detroit, who a lot of people high on, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. You got everywhere you turn, you got old school football coming back. And I think that's a good thing because it's when you asking your quarterback to drop back and throw 32 passes, you ask him for a lot. That's a lot. And a lot can happen. And everybody don't have that kind of quarterback. Even with the Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes is all-time great. And you even seen him leaning on his run game a little more than what he used to with his run game and his defense. And I think that's a formula for success. Because when you run the ball, you can control time of possession. You can sustain drives. You can break one to the house. You can wear out a defense. A lot of good things can happen when you running the football. Power running. And it takes pressure off of your quarterback. Like, quarterbacks is important. I understand. I know that. I know the value of a quarterback. So I'm not sitting there trying to diminish it. But what I'm saying is that for you to think your quarterback is go back and throw 400 yards a game, it's not realistic. Everybody's not going to be able to do that. Sometimes you're going to have a QB or he's going to have a game where he busts their head wide open and throw for 3-4 tubs and 400. Yeah, that's going to happen sometime, but you can't count on that. But you can count on dependability from the running back position. Not even saying you need a bell cow. You can do it by committee. Hell, Atlanta got Tyler Algier and Bijan. The Falcons, the Lions, they got a committee. And probably the 49ers, they going to have a committee. So that's okay to have a committee. And Baltimore, I know they 0-2 right now, but we know they're going to turn it around. Even Joe Mixon, as good as C.J. Stroud is, Joe Mixon been doing that thing out there. So it makes me happy to see that old school football is slowly starting to come back. I know it's the quarterback. I get that. But I think the league, in this own funny way, is starting to put some respect on that running back position name. And that's something we need. That's something I can appreciate. And I think deep down, y'all appreciate that too. And on top of that, the running back has evolved. Because now they done turned into pass catchers. You're seeing more Christian McCaffreys and LaDainian Tomlinsons out there than you are Earl Campbells and Thurman Thomas, although both of those running backs are all-time great. There's a definitely place for the Thurman Thomases of the world. Definitely places for the Earl Campbells of the world. Definitely places for the Walter Paytons of the world. There's always going to be a place for that. But we've seen the running back evolve. That's why I always say they like that whole thing about running backs not getting paid. Okay, fine. They may not get QB money. Who does? But they do get paid. You seen Christian's contract? Seen Derrick Henry's contract? You seen Alvin Kamara's contract that he is about to expire? He go get some more money. They get paid. You see Aaron Jones, he got his money. Saquon got his money. They always get paid. So the notion that running backs wasn't getting paid was, I just always found odd. But to that point, you know you got to have a quarterback. You do. And usually when you got a quarterback, you pay him a lot. Sometimes you pay more than what you probably should, a la the Dallas Cowboys. But when you do that, it makes it hard for you to get something else, right? So here's what you can do. You can get your running back, and guess what? You don't got to pay him nothing. You can get you a running back, baby. And you can get some in the draft. You get a free agent. That's always a good. I'm not gonna say there's no excuse for you not to have a good run game, but a run game is something that can be fixed. You know, you get you a tackle, a center, or a guard here. You can get you a good strong run game. That's something I wish Carolina would implement. That's something I wish they would do some more of. Speaking of Carolina, let's talk about that real quick. Didn't even mean to segue into that, but we're going to do that. So, y'all know, y'all been seeing what's going on with the Panthers. Y'all know. Ain't no secret. We've been bad. Carolina deserved to be in the Pac-12 more than do the NFC South. Never mind the NFL. But after week 2, they done told Bryce to get somewhere and sit down. Well deserved. Well deserved. And he need to sit down. The boy been bad. The boy been bad. Because let's be honest. You ain't threw a touchdown pass. You're throwing picks. You're missing receivers. You're losing confidence as the weeks go on. And now you're getting booed at the crib. I'm not saying it's all Bryce's fault. I'm not saying that. I understand he's up against some things he has no business being up against with upper management and all that. Well, David Tepper wanted him because he's a fine young man. But, I mean, Bryce was, I was more of a CJ guy. Y'all know I was more of a CJ Stroud guy. And it's easy to say that in hindsight, but I was. I just like CJ better at Ohio State than I did Bryce at Alabama. But that's here or there now. Regardless of the situation is, this situation was designed for Bryce to fail. He was not going to succeed because there's a lot that Carolina needs to be fixed. And I got news for you. Yeah, Andy Dalton's going to come in and the offense will look better. Because Bryce is not the quarterback Andy Dalton is. And I think Andy Dalton is better than Bryce Young at this point because of what had happened to him. But Andy Dalton is not going to save the Panthers either. We are not just a quarterback away. I wish we was. Not the case. Because ever since Derrick Brown got hurt, we can't stop the run. We can't get off the field. I'm not sure if Dave Canales is the guy, the coach, but, you know, we going to hang on there and see with that. So, I mean, there's a lot going on. But if we can score touchdowns, that will certainly help. That will certainly help. So I'm not going to sit there and beat on Bryce Young. I mean, y'all know he bad. I'm not going to kill Bryce. And I think for what it's worth, because I think his time in Carolina, I mean, he'll probably be a backup, but I think you don't bring him back. You don't bring him back. Once you decide to go Andy Dalton week 2, yeah, you can't go back to Bryce. You can't. It'd been one thing if he was losing it because he got hurt or something. Nah, he losing it because you hurting the team. That's why you sit down. And I think it had to be done. It had to be. And I was a big Bryce defender last year. Y'all know I was. But currently, right now, as things are going, I can't defend this. What can I say to make Bryce look good? Other than him being a fine young man. I'm sure he does have good character. He seemed like he cool. But the quarterback, there's a lot of meat left on that bone. A lot of meat left on that bone. So we'll see what's up with Carolina. I mean, it'll be nice to see the offense because we got an offensive line now because, you know, they've been offering protection. We got receivers now, so let's see. Let's just see what happened. I mean, Andy Dalton, he was all right with the Bengals back in the day. He ain't, I don't know if he's that guy anymore, but I mean, hell, we'll see. Hell, Sam Darnold turned his stuff around. Derek Carr turned this stuff around. How come Andy Dalton can't turn this thing around? He got to clean up where he messed up. I'm starting my life over again. Hey, you never know. You never know. You never know. But speaking of that turning things around point, have y'all seen the Saints and what they did to Dallas? Now, let's stick to the Dallas point. Let's because the Saints, they may be the real deal for real. They may be about that. Derek Carr is letting you know, hey, I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna let y'all know I ain't the one to be played with. I'm not the one to be played with. I know y'all left me to die out here in New Orleans, but I done had me a plate of gumbo. I done had some of that crawfish. I done got some of that jambalaya. I done drove through them waters. I done wrestled alligators. I done came out the mud, and I'm going to show you what I'm about. I'm going to show you how to do that there. That's exactly how Derek Carr came out. And, I mean, that's tough. They looking like they might be a problem for real. For real. And I think Dallas was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, Dallas, they good for a game like this. They'll give you a game like this every year. They'll get you hyped up, let you know, oh, yeah, we ready. And then they'll get their head kicked in. Usually to a team that got a strong run game. I think it was Arizona that peeled their head back last year. And this year, it was the Saints. Now, Dallas will be fine. They'll be all right. Sometimes you just got to throw it out. You just got to throw it away. Dak Prescott, they paid him. That's what they want. They paid him. That's what they want. Dallas is going to be okay. And Philly lost, so that helps them out. Washington, they down there, and you ain't got to worry about the Giants, so you just need to focus on that division. If y'all can get that division and don't let Philly get too far ahead of y'all going to be all right. Lucky for y'all don't got to deal with the Saints no more. So be thankful for that. But I don't know about Dallas. To my point, they should have got Derrick Henry. That's what I keep taking away from this. You should have got Derrick Henry. Had you got Derrick Henry, maybe some of this could have been alleviated. Because what we've seen with the Cowboys, they are at their best when they are running the football. When they running the football, that's when Dallas is a problem. Whether you go into the Emmitt Smith days, the DeMarco Murray days, the early Zeke days. When they running the football, that's when Dallas is at their best. And I know they only won the Super Bowls with Emmitt. I understand that. But when they was taken serious and something to be feared, is well, at least regular season wise, they running the football. And if you had Derrick Henry, I think that makes you a lot better. And you do a lot more. And that opens things up for Dak and Derrick also. You put a thing with Derrick, but they had money problems already. They had to worry about paying Micah. Well, they still got to worry about paying Micah. Had to worry about paying Dak. Had to worry about paying CeeDee Lamb. And the last thing you want to do is bring in, a top back in the league, and you got to pay him too. So I get it, but that's their problem. They can't run the ball. And yeah, it's cool you brought Zeke back. Dalvin Cook's cool. Deuce Vaughn's all right, but I think if you'd had Dak, you'd been better. Now, that defense, we were saying this last year. The defense is more opportunistic than it is good. The defense is more opportunistic than it is good. The defense is more opportunistic than it is good. It's a gambling defense. Now, they good. They might get you some turnovers, but just as far as that team just stonewall, you shall not be moved. Someone telling you, bring your ass here and sit down. I'm going to put you in this corner and have you on lock and key for 3 hours. No, that's not the Cowboys. That's not what they do. At least not over a stretch of a whole game. Every now and then they might put clamps on somebody and lock them down. But by and large, it's an opportunistic gambling defense. And that works for a lot of hell. It's worked for Dallas. But when it don't work, you got games like Green Bay, you got games like Arizona, and you got games like the Saints. That's what you got. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So far as Dallas, Sometimes you just got to throw the game out. Sometimes you got to throw that out. But boy, y'all did get y'all ass whooped. I need y'all to know that. Throw the tape away. Just learn what you can from it. But that's the kind of loss you go to bed with on your mind. And you bet if the Saints is like that for real, you better pray that you don't run into New Orleans again. Because the way they dealt with y'all, they look like they'll turn y'all every way but loose and make y'all head touch all four corners of that football field. You understand me? So learn from it and take it for what it is and go through the rest of the season. But you can be had. That's what you need to be taken away from this. The Dallas Cowboys can be had because of that defense and Dak Prescott. Because Dak Prescott, he can still get careless with that football. Don't think I ain't see them interceptions. I'm not going to harp on it because everybody throwing interceptions. Hell, Patrick Mahomes throwing interceptions. So I'm not going to kill nobody for interceptions. Ineptitude, that's something different. I don't put ineptitude and Dak in the same conversation because I don't think he's an inept quarterback. I think he's fine. I think he's all right. But things get too left on you. Be careful. Be careful. Something else I want to speak on. Y'all seen the thing with Tua, with him getting that concussion. And he don't plan on retiring. And this is kind of a tricky subject because you say, should he retire? A lot of people will say it was easy to say he shouldn't retire. Oh, don't retire. Don't retire. I mean, you should retire. You should retire. It's easy to say that based on him getting his head knocked in. But it was, although he was all right last year, he didn't get none last year. But the year before that, he had a couple of them. Ultimately, it's his choice because we've seen that before. We've seen players get rocked and come back. Hell, Damar Hamlin, you know, he had a heart attack on the field. He died on the field. I don't recall people saying he needed to retire, he needed to retire, and he came back. Oddly enough, that's the brother that hit him in the chest. So, no, nobody was saying nothing about Damar Hamlin retiring. And even if you play, because regardless of what you are, everybody's one hit away in the NFL. Ryan Shazier had a clean bill of health. He got body rocked in that game, and he ain't been the same since. So you don't got to have a condition to be had. Everybody. That's why Andrew Luck walked away because really the Colts failed him is why he retired. But he was getting hurt. He was like, hey man, I want to live. I want to walk. I ain't gonna be dealing with y'all mofos getting my eyes beat out every Sunday. I did what I could, so he retired. Luke Kuechly, same thing. You know, led the league in tackles. He was hitting everything out there, and it got a little real for him, and he had them concussions. And he walked away on his own accord. So if Tua's in the good thing about him, he's a quarterback, and quarterbacks don't have to, you know, they get more protection than most. So I think he needs to work on that sliding thing, but most football players, they're going to go for it. I don't know the football player that's just going to say, stop, I'm not doing this no more unless it's just bad. I think it's got to be bad for them to just stop on their own accord. So my thing with that, I think he's got to do what's best for him. So he's obviously going to play. I think that's what he should do. He just be careful. And I can't tell him to stop. You can't tell him to stop. Nobody can tell him what to stop. Everybody's got their opinion. And now, if it was me, I'd probably keep going too, I think. I don't know. I mean, he's made like, what, $94 million? So, I mean, you set for life. Your kids set for life. So, it's not like you're playing for money. You don't need that. You got that took care of. So, you're just playing for the love of the game. I guess it's easy to say he should walk away. But ultimately, that's his whole lifestyle. So you basically asking somebody to change their life. But do you change your life to prolong your life? I think most would, but I mean, you just never know. It's people that walk away from football, play a whole career and don't have near the problems Tua have, and they run into problems. Like I was talking about Earl Campbell. Earl Campbell can hardly walk. A lot of these football players, they didn't kill themselves off suicide. But to that point, CTE, it's been a lot of people that ain't been nowhere near a football field and have some of the same problems that football players do, with whether it be suicide or drunk driving or headaches, or it's people that suffer through that all the time. And again, ain't even touched the pair of cleats, let alone the football. So it's not just exclusive to football. So if tomorrow's not promised, regardless one way or the other, you may as well live your life. And that's really a lesson. Just live your life. And shout out to Tua, because that's showing he ain't living in fear. And being afraid of something that may or may not happen, I don't know if that's a way to live your life, living scared. I wouldn't advise anybody to do that, regardless of what it is. Never mind football. You shouldn't live your life in fear, because what I'm starting to see and what I've learned in life, something more often than not, the worst case scenario never happens. Not for real. Sometimes it might get a little dark out there for you. It might get a little sticky out there for you. But the worst case scenario don't always come to pass. So don't live in fear. Go out there. Be bold. Take chances. Make mistakes. And the same thing with Tua. So I'm rooting for Tua. I hope he come back and have a great career. And he gonna have a good career. He's a solid quarterback, so it ain't like he a dud. He just need to learn to get on the ground and give himself up, and he going head first like, he Derrick Henry or something. It'd probably time out for that. But I'm rooting for him. So good for Tua. Good for Tua. Good for his family. I'm praying for him. And I'm sure many around the world is praying for him. So that's what I got to say about that. And as far as everything else, that's all I got right now for this edition of Calling How I See It. But I'll catch y'all in traffic. Love, peace, Afro Grease. I'm out of this thing. Yeah.